Hey guys, welcome back to Marketing of the Mind. So good to be back with you once again. Excited to spend some time with you. Nate, how you feeling today?
I'm excited.
Are you excited?
I'm excited, Terry. Lots of good things happened around the office this week. So
Good.
We've got general good buzz. We've got some new landscaping going out at the front. And it's kind of fancy. I don't know, it's nice. It's nice.
Well, it is good.
We've picked up a couple of really big clients. And so there's a general buzz and excitement about that around the office. And
love it.
It's fun to be recognized by some big name brands as a marketing authority. So that's a
little
pat on our back,
Good
right?
for you guys.
Yeah.
Excited. Super pumped for you. Well, excited for this episode 16 of Marketing of the Minds. As you know, on this particular show, we spent a lot of time focusing on answering the specific questions that you guys as business professionals have just about business, about marketing, about kind of a broad range of things to help you really grow and scale your businesses. So we got 3 questions today. And special welcome to our patron saints of the Marketing of the Minds, Mr. and Mrs. Potato Head. Again, patron saints of Idaho. Our headquarters are here in Idaho, and of course everybody knows Idaho's famous for potatoes, so we couldn't.
Not just potatoes, Terry, good ones.
Good potatoes, the big ones, the big humongous potatoes. So anyway, shout out to Mr. and Mrs. Potato Head there. So our first question, Mr. Nathan, comes from Clarissa. She works at an accounting firm in Portland, Oregon. And actually, we're going to skip down to the bottom one because this is a good one too. Damon, we're going to hit Damon up first. He's a podiatrist in Spokane, Washington. He says, how do we keep track so that we can evaluate the effectiveness of a campaign? Now, I'm assuming the campaign that they're talking about is some sort of a marketing or advertising campaign. But how does a podiatrist or somebody in the medical industry, if they're doing some sort of advertising or promotion online, how do they track whether or not it's working, not working, how to make it better? Thoughts?
Well, that's a good question. First of all, hi, Damon. It's good to hear from you. I actually get this question a lot.
Okay.
And I've got a couple of general things that I want to say about it. In digital marketing in particular, we have a specialty. Well, specialty or not, we have a lot of medical offices that work with us. And so we seem to do really well for them, and we have a reputation for that. But one of the things we talk about all the time is tracking. And so I've written down a couple of notes because I wanted to make sure that I hit a couple things and didn't forget some of the thoughts that I had. But tracking in digital marketing is paramount.
Yep.
One of the things that I love about what we do is everything's trackable. So you can definitively give the proper attribution to where was money spent and where was it returned. Just so that you know. But digital marketing by and large is, in the simplest ways, a large data collection game. There's different ways that we collect data, and there's different ways that some of the platforms we use collect data. Everybody knows, and it's not a secret, it's, kind of not cool for privacy matters, but Google, Facebook, TikTok, and whatever entities are behind those collect all kinds of information about you. Mm-hmm. As marketers, it's phenomenal because we have access to be able to do really specific types of targeting, whether that's demographic targeting, persona targeting, it could be geographic, psychographic. There's lots of different ways that we can set up audiences. But you can't, the reason why tracking matters is because we want to avoid making decisions based off of emotion of how people feel like things are going.
Right.
Because oftentimes the way that people feel is a little different than what really is happening. So tracking is amazing. The data that we collect give us the facts. And that's what we're interested in. So
I really appreciate that because oftentimes as business owners or as marketers, sometimes we fall into the temptation of thinking that we know best, that our experience or our gut feel knows best, and we make decisions based on that. But to your point, when people come to websites or when customers interact, that data is tracked, and that's the stuff that we want to make sure to use
Sure.
to inform decisions, not our hunches or our gut feels or our experience. So that's great insight.
Yep. When and look, I like to think that I know a few things.
Right.
I am often wrong, and the data is what proves me wrong based off of my feelings.
Exactly.
But there are some very specific things to do and to use. Paramount for just about any type of marketing campaign we use. We discuss this at length often, not only with our clients but internally. But one of the very best platforms out there for any kind of tracking on any kind of digital marketing is Google Analytics. Mm-hmm. So Google Analytics is a must. Now, there are a couple of steps in analytics. So implementing is really a basic piece. Setting it up correctly is another piece. And that's something we do all the time, especially when we take over projects from other digital marketing agencies, is find that they've just set it up, but they haven't set the settings in Google Analytics to get the proper attribution. So Google Analytics, and specifically in analytics, I'll just mention that you want to set up conversion goals.
Okay.
So if somebody wants to call your office, Damon, there's a way to set it up so we can track those phone calls in Google Analytics. Form fills. There's lots of different things we can set up for conversion goals. So those are just a couple things. The other thing that Google Analytics does is helps us define and find out who our audience is. And it's called audience definitions. And so if anybody has any questions about how to set those up, what to set up, where to set it up, call me. I'll just tell you. I'll just tell you guys if you guys want to know.
That's awesome.
So Google Search Console is another amazing communication portal. You not only learn about how your website performs, where people come from, how many visits and impressions and what you're showing up for and where people are located when they see you, et cetera, et cetera. But you can connect Search Console and Google Analytics, and I find that is often missed.
Oh, okay.
So setting up analytics is paramount, Search Console, and then connecting the two. That matters. Now, there are things you can connect other than just those two.
Right.
But for all intents and purposes for this answer, that's what I'll mention. Another one that's underutilized by a lot of people is UTM Codes. So UTM Codes is a query string that you stick on the end of a URL, and it helps analytics identify really specific about how people found you, where they found you, what source they came in from, et cetera, and it makes sorting that data really easy. So I would highly recommend UTM Codes on everything you do, link building, social media posts, Facebook ads, Google ads, anything like that. Tracking pixels, lots of companies offer tracking pixels. Implement that. Facebook is really famous for a tracking pixel. Do it. Need to have tracking pixels. That helps us to define how effective was social media to completing a specific objective. Now, Google Tag Manager is kind of a surface piece. It's not critical, but it's really helpful and it's very convenient, and it offers so much flexibility in how you do tracking. I would recommend you use Tag Manager, and then you can set up all of your other conversion triggers within Google Tag Manager. And I'm sure we can talk about what that is at another time. It's a good thing. And then I would also say the very last thing that's probably most important, maybe call it the hack at the end. Don't forget your calls to action. Anytime you ever put out a piece of information, whether it's on social media, in a Google My Business post, in a just on your website, instruct your audience. Tell them you want to do something. And then that will trigger activity in Google Analytics based on how you have things set up. So then that should be able to help you track the effectiveness of any digital marketing campaign that you're running.
I love that last piece because it's as business owners and marketers, sometimes we feel like if we just get good information out there about who we are, what we do, who we do it for, how it works, et cetera, that's enough, that our potential customers and consumers, that they'll see that and they'll just want to take action. But it's hard to, Damon, as you were just mentioning, or as you asked, it's hard to track the effectiveness of a campaign if we don't have a way to measure some sort of action that they are taking. If we forget to ask them to call, to click, to download, to visit, to subscribe, to
Fill out a form. Set up an appointment.
If we don't ask them to do something, that sort of action can't be tracked. So other thing that just came to my mind is it's okay if a campaign isn't working. Sometimes we freak out if something isn't working, but the next step when we look at the data and we notice that a campaign really isn't, not a lot of people are clicking or calling or filling something out, it's time to make some tweaks and some changes in what's being invited, or maybe an ad or a picture, an image, or the words, or change things up a little bit so that it can improve. So anyway, so that's great. Anything else on that?
Nope. I hope that helps, Damon.
All right. Well, you're the man. Thanks for asking, Damon. Let's go to Jeff. Jeff actually runs a dental practice here in our hometown of Idaho Falls, Idaho. He has kind of an interesting question. He says this, or he asked this: I have a business that is not well known in the community. People who know about it really like it, but they don't want to do a video to promote us. So they're kind of nervous about jumping on video and leaving a testimonial or something like this. He says, is there anything that we can do short of just a written review? So it seems like it's kind of a two-part question. What can we do to maybe help our customers get some more testimonials or reviews for our customers? But if they're hesitant about it, what else can we do?
Good question. And Jeff, I appreciate the question. What comes to the top of my mind, first and foremost, because it applies in so many areas, is the acronym EAT, right? We talked about that before.
Yep.
That's expertise, authority, and trustworthiness. And you need to become EAT to your audience. And as you do that, your brand will become better known. But here are the kinds of things that you can do, or what we have successfully executed for other clients in the past. Again, don't underestimate the value of video. People can see who you are, they see the passion that you have.
Yeah.
Then you kind of exude the confidence of knowing the answer. People read you a little bit on video. Just a quick stat, in 2020, 86% of all the bandwidth for internet usage was video.
It was video, 86.
So if that doesn't give you a hint onto how important video is. But here's what I would do with some of those things. Answer some of your FAQ questions with a video. And they don't have to be lengthy answers, but give enough detail, something that could really help. Talk about some of your simple points about either your product or your service that you offer. You know, for example, for a dentist, I've seen this a handful of times and it's worked really well, surprisingly, but a dentist will get on a video and say, hey, I know we talk about it a lot, but here's a quick instruction on how to brush your teeth. I mean, you assume everybody knows, but it gets a lot of attention. It seems to work, and people go like, oh yeah, hey, check it out. This guy from this company, this dental organization is giving me some good instruction. I would talk about what makes your service different than others that you might compete with. Whether that's local competition or national or someone in another state, you might say this is what you can typically expect from somebody else. Here's how we handle it, etc. Do all those things on a video. Then post the video up to YouTube,
Yep.
Facebook, TikTok, LinkedIn, Instagram, any of those places where you can get in front of your audience. I will give a quote to Gary Vee, and it's not something that you haven't heard. If you know who Gary Vee is and you listen to him,
Yeah.
he repeats it maybe every time,
Ad nauseam.
right? But he says, produce content and post it on social media every single day. And so this is one thing that you could do. But there is a 3-part solution that we typically have used to help our clients, A, become recognized, but B, to convert higher at the same time. And so that 3-part problem, again, these are not things that I've made up. I believe there's several places, including Building a Story Brand, where these come from.
Okay.
But number 1 is identify a problem or an issue that your audience might face. So if you're a landscaper and maybe someone says, hey, I'm not really sure, my sprinklers won't turn on. That's an issue that maybe some of your audience has. Now, I'm not saying all of your audience has it. We're not going to be able to hit 100% every time, but a portion of your audience has that question. So identify an issue. Then talk about what your solution is to that problem, to that issue. Identify that specifically and then answer it. And you've got some proven process, or you've got some experience, or something about what you do that resolves that and makes it a non-issue moving forward, okay? And then the third thing you need to do is you need to paint the picture for people about what the end result looks like once people have used you for said problem and solution.
Nice.
So that's what I would say, Jeff, that could help you become a better known person is video, and then use that 3-step process I just mentioned, and that helps you become an authority in the mind of your audience.
That's awesome. I think of those are amazing things. I think of when we have customers who like us, like what we do, but are nervous about getting on a video. Some other ideas that maybe to also consider to complement what Nate has mentioned is have them submit a picture. Just a picture, a photograph of them, their kids, their family, their whatever, and just put that on your website or on your website or on your social media channels as a happy, satisfied customer, and just get their permission to use maybe the first initial of their name and last name and maybe the location. That's an idea. You can also interview them on the phone. You can call them up and say, hey, appreciate your most recent visit. We're always looking for some feedback. How do you feel like your visit went? And you can ask them some questions and kind of interview them. And then that interview can be recorded and then transcribed and turned into a testimonial that way. But if they're nervous about getting on a video, we really have three other mediums: is images, written word, and audio. So kind of those big four: video, pictures, written word, and audio would be a total of four, 3 other mediums that a customer might feel more comfortable with in leaving a review or a testimonial or something like that. So
they're good options.
Yeah, very good. Awesome, Jeff. Thanks for that. Okay, our last question for today comes from Clarissa. Clarissa, she's out in Portland, Oregon. She works at an accounting firm, and she says, what can we do to promote a new office opening up soon? So apparently they've got one opening up a new office there. So anticipation of that opening up. What are some things maybe, weeks or a couple of months prior to the grand opening? What can they do to kind of get the word out and start promoting the new location?
Yeah, good question. I wrote down 7 different things that come to the top of my mind. It is not an exhaustive list.
Sure, I'm sure.
Just the 7 things that came to my mind at first. The very first thing that I would do is remember that the place that you're going to get the most engagement and interaction, and where you want to direct people so that you have control of the message, is your website. So first thing is update your website with information, pictures, videos, writing about the area or what makes this such a great location or addition to the locations you offer, et cetera, et cetera. So updating the website, number 1. Number 2 is I would update or add a new location in Google My Business.
Okay.
Your Google My Business profile, if you don't know, is what controls the Google Maps listings. And for someone who's looking for a local business, it's about 84% of people will use the local listings above the organic when they're looking for a local place, such as an accountant, perhaps. Mm-hmm. So that's what I would do. Again, we talked about this before, but most people don't fill out the Google My Business profile to completion. So just make sure that anywhere that there is a space to put info,
fill it out.
You do it. Right. Yep, very, very important. And it's okay to go into depth and into detail. Don't be lazy on it. It pays big dividends, so it's worth the attention. So number 2 is add your profile or information to Google My Business. Number 3 I wrote down is if you're not taking advantage of search marketing, you should be. Meaning, if you're not actively working on writing content, building links, updating your information in various other directories. SEO and pay-per-click. Pay-per-click is part of search marketing. If you're not actively doing on that, that's an easy way to get attention for a new location. Number 4 is, and I know that in the past, and I'm talking years ago, directories were super hot, right? And then Google came in and said, if you're only doing that, it's not so hot. And it's been, kind of quiet on that front for years. I will tell you that we are very successful with directory listings today. Now, it is not the only thing we do for link building by far, but it is a very good tactic again. And because people don't overuse or do it excessively, Google has given a little more credibility back to it, especially depending on the places that you're listed. But if you want to know a good place, check out Moz Local, check out Yext, check out Bright Local. There's White Spark. These guys all help you get good local citations in lots of different directories, worth the money for your new location. Okay. 5th is add your location to your social media profile and then announce it. Put it in front of your audience. Highlight, maybe when it's going to open, or maybe it's a good time to say, here are the new employees that are going to be staffing this new location. Or maybe you have an event, an open house or something. Talk about it. But you've got an audience on social media, so use it. Social media ads to tell people about the exciting news you have. Facebook and Instagram, LinkedIn, fantastic places to run ads. And then lastly, if you have some kind of an email base or an audience, send them an email. Let them know it's opening.
Absolutely.
So, email campaigns work really well. Don't forget an email campaign to invite them to check it out. Give them a call to action. And email is also a great place to announce, updates like I just said just a second ago, whether it's employees or something special about the new location or that you have some event coming up. Email is a great way to notify people with that. And to give a little piece on video, I read that 56% of emails have a 56% better open rate when the word video is used in the subject line.
Oh, okay.
Take it for what it's worth. I didn't get the stat. I just saw it. I thought it was cool.
Well, I think it's one of those things when you're opening up a new location. I think it's one of those things that you've got to be pretty intentional about.
Yes.
Like put together a bit of a plan, a 30-day, 60-day, 90-day plan prior to, and you've listed out a number of good things. Like say, we're going to focus on this thing this week. Next week we're going to do this thing. And this week we're going to do this thing. So kind of put together an agenda, a little bit of a plan, stay consistent with it. Right, and it doesn't hurt to do some promotions, special kind of giveaways or promotions or other things to get people to come in, build up that anticipation weeks and months prior to, so that everybody gets super pumped and jazzed. So that's awesome. Well, that's those are the 3 questions we had today. That's awesome. Good stuff. Thank you, Clarissa. Thank you, Jeff, and thank you, Damon. You guys are awesome. Appreciate you guys sending those in. And as you guys know, every single week we jump on and we answer your questions for all of you business professionals that are in the trenches working hard and growing and building your businesses. We salute you. We admire you. We are right there in the trenches with you. And we're excited to continue to serve you at the highest levels possible. Now, please, if you've gotten any value out of the things that we've been able to talk about today, be sure to hit the subscribe button on the YouTube channel. And in the comments down below, post your questions. It's your questions that we use right here every single week. So great to be with you once again. Nate, any final parting words for our good people that are watching us?
I will say one thing. We're growing. So guys, we're hiring. If you think you want to you have some need to do some digital marketing or you want to learn it, we'll teach you. Come apply, come check us out.
All right, that's awesome. Mr. and Mrs. Potato Head, any final words? And on that note, appreciate you guys. We'll see you next time. Take good care.